What's up YouTube, how you doing? So basically our new single Reason to Live came out yesterday on all your favorite streaming platforms. It's a fucking banger and it means a lot to us. It's in the link below, so please go stream it and share it with as many friends as you possibly can. You may also notice that there's no actual video footage in this podcast, and that's just because we managed to lose it all. That won't happen again, or it might. Life will go on. Please enjoy.
Hello and welcome to
1, 2, 3 Raspberries and Chuckles. Raspberries and Chuckles. Raspberries and Chuckles. Raspberries and Chuckles. Take a raspberry, put a chuckle inside. Right.
Oliver Amos. We have Oliver Amos with us today. He does a lot of things. He plays
What's up, my boy?
in a band called the Southeasters. He also makes music by himself, and he takes photos, and he also takes videos. How are you doing, my friend?
I am good.
What a capable man.
I'm
You
a
good?
capable man. Not arithmetically capable, but I am somewhat capable in other things. No, but I'm good. I'm good. How are you, Johnny?
Personally, I am doing well as well. Thank you very much.
This is
Much
good.
better now that you're here.
Oh, thank you.
I love
Thank
these
you.
Sunday little...
That was so formal. Can we just talk about how formal that interaction was?
That was smooth
How are
though.
you,
I like that.
Jonathan? I am well, thank you, my sir.
I think I even called him Oliver, didn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh well.
Mr. Oliver Amos.
Okay, now that that's out the way, fucking hell. How are you coping with all this shit, Ollie? Just everything. Pick one thing and tell me how you're doing.
Okay, one thing. Jeez. Okay, obviously online learning. Like
Okay,
in
big
first,
one.
okay. So first term of this year, I went to approximately 12% of my lectures. That 12% is made entirely of French. So I didn't go to like any other lectures. It was just French. And then like when you're not going to lectures, you're relying on your friends to sort of like update you on what's happening in class. Like, oh, we've got a test now. We have a project at this time. And then when you switch to online learning and you're completely behind on all the coursework, and you still then you can't rely on your friends to tell you what's happening. All of a sudden you've got to find like when things are happening. And for me, like I've got so many online tuts to do, like even just during the term, like without online learning. So like my friends would tell me, oh, have you done the online tut? I was like, well, I didn't know there was an online tut, but thanks. Now, like I don't see my friends on a daily basis, so they're not asking me if I've done the tut. So I must have missed 60% of my online tuts.
Oh.
So like I have, for political science, I've like got 2 term modules in the first semester, 2 1-term modules. The first one,
Man was cruising.
we've got 6 online tuts to do.
Man's cruising for a bruising.
We've got 6 online tuts to do. I missed 4 of them and I still passed.
Okay,
Dude,
well,
Imagine
well done.
missing 60%. Like, is that
Bro.
just like, that's just a DP requirement? Like, I wish we could miss touch. That's just not a thing.
Crap.
On the
That's so
course
fucked up.
outline, they say you
chilling.
need to complete all of them. And I did 2 of them and I still passed.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
The day before the marks,
Well, well
UCC
done.
needs
For,
to catch up, dude.
the day
damn.
before the marks came out for that module.
you could recover from
Just-
that then.
Easy. It's easy. University is easy. Like the day before those marks came out, I was just telling my parents, like, yeah, look, hey, there's been these online tuts that I might have missed 1 or 2, but it's just because they didn't communicate properly with us. So I mean, if I do have
You gotta sow the
Well, they
seeds.
know now. You better hope they don't listen to
they will not. They will not. I won't tell them. Won't tell them. It's like I was just
sounds
telling
like a
you,
good
look,
call.
guys, you might find out that I fail a module, but it's not my fault. No, I got the mark straight through with like
Blame it on the
56.
system.
Just lying through your
But no,
teeth.
I've done the
Good.
exact same thing for my second term module of it, so we'll see how that goes.
See, that's the problem. When you don't get punished for not working at uni, you just keep doing the same.
Why should I
thing.
change?
It's a fine line.
Why should I change? It's easy.
It's a fine
It's a
line.
fine line because then you get
It really is. It really
Hits.
is. But that's the thing, like
you cross the line and then you are
Like,
That's no.
and I think though, like so many people
Yeah.
are struggling with online learning though. Like, even just like
Yeah.
the most plugged in people I know are just like falling so far behind on work and everything. Like especially studies
100%.
students though, because they've tried to condense like the whole of the second term and exams into the shortest time. So people are actually like fully dying. Like I genuinely believe that people are going to come out of this
Yo.
with like severe PTSD or anxiety or some form of depression. Like this has
No,
has been
100%.
rough. Like
It's so just intense for such a short
it
amount of time.
really is.
No, like
You have to learn everything as well as do all the tuts and all the tests,
Yeah,
and then
literally.
stay up to date.
Like all of my
and
modules,
do it all
Stay
yourself.
alive.
Have the discipline.
because it's all self-learning
Yeah.
now.
Has anyone here actually stayed up to date with like their week's like work?
I mean, I
Oh
don't,
no,
I don't have
I
that.
do it all
Just
based on
been like,
when
okay,
I
there's a
test.
test coming up, a project here,
Cram.
and a touch here. Let's mark a plan.
Even-
Yeah.
Who do I
Yeah.
know? Like,
No, hundreds.
Like even I hadn't.
Boer maak
I
'n
finished
plan.
with economics 2 days ago. I thought the exam was in like a day's time from now, but it was actually 2 days ago. It was like I checked my exam schedule so long ago, and I was like, okay, cool. I know all the dates. I don't need to check
And
it
it
again.
got updated, and you got.
And then like on the 16th or something, I was talking to my brother like, yeah, I've got history and pol sci to do. They're just essays, so it's easy. Then I have to hand in a French assignment on the 22nd, and then I've also got my economics exam on the 22nd. It's like I'm chilling, it's fine. I don't need to worry about anything. Next thing I just check my exam schedule just to make sure. The exam's 3 days early, and I haven't even started studying for this thing. So now I've got like
God.
a day and a half.
I never trust the exam timetables. I'll check the day before just to make sure they
you
haven't
got to
changed
check
the
those
time.
announcements.
Oh no! And I don't. I also
change.
somehow miss a lot of the communications between our lecturers and us. So like, there's just so much stuff.
Miss. They get lost in the system.
You know the World Wide Web. You know how it
Man's
is.
just
you
not
know,
checking his emails.
You know how the World Wide
World
Web. You
Wide
know the
Web.
interwebs and that. You know. You know, mom and dad. That's how the internet works.
On the line.
You know, on the line. You know,
Just got.
just throw some jargon at them.
You have to go on that line. All right.
Okay, let's
Should we
stop
jump
talking
into
about
the
uni
questions?
because uni is dominating our
Yeah.
lives. Let's move on.
Yeah, so okay,
Oli,
you're a
please.
creative.
Get off the
Brew.
line, yeah.
You're a creative.
Yeah. Yeah.
What have you been
I
doing,
suppose.
and how have you been doing it?
You mean like from the start or just in lockdown?
Like from now.
I mean, give a bit of background.
Okay,
Well, give a little bit of background to the viewers,
So-
viewers, and then more particularly like.
Okay,
now.
so I started playing bass guitar. No, that's a lie. I started playing a recorder when I was like 5. I mean,
It always
who
starts
doesn't?
with a
Who
recorder.
doesn't,
It
You know,
fucking starts with a
recorder.
Where everyone
Everyone's
started.
played recorder at some point.
Yeah.
And then I.
Through their nostrils.
Powerful,
Everything.
powerful move that one. So I started on recorder, and then I moved on to piano, which I so regret dropping. But I moved on to piano. I played it for like a year and a half. The only thing of worth that I learned was the Pink Panther theme song, and I would absolutely
the
spam
class.
the living hell out of anyone who was willing to hear it. Like, you want to hear me play? You want to hear me play piano? Da 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 da. That was the only thing.
You said do that now.
Like, I want to buy
Greg,
some
rock
Crocs.
some Crocs.
No, I
Greg,
want some
you need
Crocs.
to play in
O's.
Crocs.
I've been looking
Do you-
for
do you
Crocs.
wear
Like, I
your
went to the
Crocs
Crocs
in-
factory store.
Do you
I
wear
want
Crocs
Crocs.
in attack or defense mode?
No, fucking, you want attack mode all the time.
Attack mode is
Attack
powerful.
mode or-
Sports mode, 4x4.
Yeah, sports
dude.
mode,
Yeah.
utility mode.
That's not stuffing around. Yo. Damn.
Yeah,
No,
so
okay,
like,
Greg,
I
you
played-
need to wear
Ready
Crocs.
for anything. Attack or defense. That's great.
So I played bass from like grade 4. Then I moved to Bosch in grade 6. I started playing in like the school bands there. Then into high school, playing in school bands again. I didn't do music in grade 8 because I wasn't super keen. I was like, I'll rather, because we had a choice of drama, music, or art. I went with art and then let my dad do all of my projects for me because he's an artist. And
Tactical
then
move.
after 1 year, I was like, okay, I've done this. I'll just do music instead.
Nice.
So then I started playing I didn't play in any bands in grade 8. So in grade 9, I played in the junior jazz band, which I stayed in until matric, which was soul destroying. And then grade 10, you guys obviously know the Grahamstown Jazz Festival.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I went to that in grade 10, made the B band because there were only 2 bassists who tried out. Which I'll take it to my grave. I made the national B band, it's fine. And then, so like obviously just music up until now. And then at the end of last year, like I started doing photography. So I went to the anti-gender-based violence protests.
Yeah.
And I just took my camera with me, just to see if I can capture some cool moments, and document what was happening. And then from there, it just kind of snowballed, and I started enjoying photography more and more. And then eventually, I was like, you know what, I'd like to shoot at festivals, because I've always had this like, you watch like the Tomorrowland after movie or like Ultra after movies, and it just looks insane. So I was like, and I've been to a lot of festivals before, and it was always the experience was never as cool as they make it look in those after movies.
Only because
So
you
you were
can't
like,
edit it after.
I want to be the person. Oli decided,
was it
I
like
want to
that?
be the person lying. I want to be the person
So it's like,
I wanna
falsely
record this
depicting this
because
shit
my
to
brain
everybody
hurts.
else.
I would rather tell a lie to everyone than get lied to. So
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Wait, so hold
So
on.
I started,
You
Yes.
started photography last year, end of last year.
last year, September. Yeah.
insane.
Does that does that
Wow.
include like the editing and that kind of shit?
Edit, yeah, pretty much. yeah.
Holy fuck! Because I've seen
Damn.
your after movies.
So good. You've been
What
blowing
the
up,
fuck?
bro.
Dude, like
Yeah.
if I look at my
Still trying
first
to
one,
figure out what I'm good at.
Yeah.
Still trying to piss off.
no, man. But the thing is, like, you see, there's so many oaks that are so much better than me. Like, you know, Oscar Stubbs.
I've heard of it.
Yes, Stubbsy.
Like,
No, I don't know.
he is insane. Like, you look at his stuff, and you look at, there's so many Cape Town-based videographers, like festival videographers, that are like insanely good, and I don't think I'll ever reach that level. So like that's why I say I'm still figuring it out.
Give yourself a bit
Nah,
of grace.
dude.
You've had what six
come
months? Like
Fair enough.
9 months. Like
Stuck
give
in
yourself
quarantine.
A little bit, yeah,
No, let me
just
take a photo of the wall quick. Or like, there's not much
Yeah.
to do, and you can't
give
leave the
yourself
house.
a little bit of credit.
But like I
Yeah.
started, so I was super keen to shoot festivals, but I don't know how to shoot festivals. Like I've never been approached by, had never been approached by anyone to take photos or anything. So I was like, cool. Well, let me just reach out to a whole bunch of festivals, because we were going to Plet for New Year's anyway. So I was like, look, I'll take my camera with, and just see if anyone is keen for a very subpar photographer to come and take photos for them for free. So I just went. So I DM'd this one festival, a New Year's Eve festival. Yeah, I did that on New Year's Eve. That's what I did on New Year's Eve. I took photos.
Good man.
Yeah. So that was the first festival I shot, and from then I was like, okay, this is quite sick. But at the same time, it sucked because I wasn't given like a content creator pass. I just got given a ticket for free.
Oh.
So I couldn't go on stage.
Hold
I couldn't
up.
go in the.
Hold
It
up.
was
You
awful.
telling me I can email a festival telling them I'll take photos
Literally,
for
it is that
free
easy.
and I can get a free
I swear that's
pass?
what you did for
Are
After
you
Creed.
taking
You and
the
Samar.
piss?
It is. It is that
Are you
easy.
taking the actual piss?
Literally.
I'll bring
Just
like I'll be
Take
like
an
that
iPhone
old boy.
and take photos.
I'll bring a like a disposable film
Literally,
camera.
you
and
can
just,
do that.
Yeah, because then you're the alt one.
yeah, and you're just getting a free pass. And
Literally, you can do that.
what the hell? Okay,
You
done.
know, there's
so, like,
YouTube. There's
never
there's
paying for
YouTube
a
channels
festival again.
dedicated to this.
That's mad, bro.
So like I started there, and then from then I just was like, okay, I'm just DM a whole bunch of different like festival organizers, event organizers. So I started shooting, like I shot at Shimmy's, then I shot at Toy Box, We Love Summer, like a whole bunch of different festivals and events. And then I got asked to shoot at, you know, like Ultra do this tour around the country, just like hosting different events to sort of raise awareness for the event.
Oh, yeah.
So then I got asked to shoot at one of the events in Stellies. And one of the guys who was there who organized the event was from Anything Goes, and they organize Ultra.
Wow,
So
okay.
I took some cool photos with a whole bunch of branding stuff that they needed to post. And then the guy approached me afterwards, was like, I saw some of those photos you took, they look really sick. Would you mind sending them to me? I was like, yeah, sure, I'll send them to you.
Let me get
and
your
he said-
number.
And then he said, I
Chris.
can get you a free ticket to Ultra if you want. So I was like,
In those
that would be
DMs.
cool.
Damn.
But if you could get me on a media team, I would literally sell my body to you. So then he was, because I like at the start of the year, once I'd shot my first festival, I was like, cool, I have to shoot at Plet Rage within the year, or I have to shoot at Ultra within like 2 or 3 years. So I was like,
Yeah.
if this man can get
2
me
months
in at
later,
Ultra,
man's shooting at Ultra.
if this man
That's
can get me
crazy,
in at
bro.
Ultra, I will lose my mind. So like a few weeks go by, and I get nothing back from him. I'm like, okay, cool. Well, it was a long shot, but like we'll see next year or the year after that. Then with like a week and a half before Ultra, the Oak messaging is like, cool, I've got you on the media team.
What?
You'll be on the photography team, doing a whole bunch of branding stuff around the event, like brand
That's so
activation
cool,
and
bro.
that stuff. But then,
So cool.
like 2 or 3 days after that, I got a phone call like in the morning from a private number, right? And then just said, would you be available for a shoot at the Mount Nelson Hotel on that same night? I'm like, yeah, sick. I can do that. Obviously, like discuss rates and everything, what their budget was. And then I get there, and it's just like a whole bunch of ANC posters, and I was like,
Yeah.
interesting. Okay, we'll see how this goes.
You didn't get
Next
told
thing-
what it was about.
No, they just said like you're going to be shooting a little private corporate event at the Mount Nelson. I was like, okay, sick.
That's
And I see
crazy.
a whole bunch of ANC in here. I was like, what is this? And then next thing I know, the president rocks up.
Oh, what?
I'm like,
Greg just lost his mind.
That's crazy.
Have you
Brother
not seen
Cyril, why are
every
you-
single time Uncle Cyril does anything, Oli reposts his photo with Cyril and goes, oh, good old president. It's
completely
I was
forgot
gonna
about
ask him
shameless
how
flex
did you meet
every
how did you meet
single
the
time.
president?
That slipped my mind.
So
That's
I actually
amazing.
just got a phone call. I was like, okay, cool, I'll come shoot. And then
So cool.
Cyril was just there. And then the person that got me the gig was like, you want a photo with Cyril? I was like, yes.
Yeah.
So then,
Don't
while
ask
he was
stupid questions.
while he was walking out, I just posed with him, and we had like a little moment because he does photography himself.
Cyril.
Why?
yeah.
So cool.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
We
That's amazing.
literally, and like
Cyril's
even
a content creator, bro.
he is. Me and Cyril, literally, like during the event, him and I had a little conversation. Like I was just walking around taking photos of people during the event, like during the speeches and everything. And he just taps me on the shoulder. He's like, "Oh, what camera are you shooting on?" So I show him, I'm like, "Oh yeah, this."
What?
And then we had a little conversation because he shoots on a Nikon, and then he was telling me how much better Nikon is than Canon. I was like,
What?
Do you like you're always tuning you?
no, you're speaking out of your ass here, Cyril. I'll agree with you on several things, but this is not one of them. Don't come at me on camera stuff.
Oli goes, listen, I've supported you this far, but listen, there are some things.
Crossed the line
Look, this
there.
is not my first rodeo. This is not my first rodeo.
What a legend.
Oh my
yeah.
god!
So
So,
then, like-
you were nerding out with the president about cameras.
With the president of the whole entire country. It was such a weird
Wild.
experience. And then like literally 4 or 5 days later, I'm shooting at Ultra.
Yo, dude, that
Which,
looked
like,
And
Nah,
how long had you
totally.
been doing photography for?
That was like
At that point?
professionally, like actively trying to grow myself as a photographer. That was about 2.5 months.
That's so
Fucking
cool.
taking
No,
it.
like
2.5 months.
because I took
That's
the photos at the
amazing.
protest.
Crazy. What the hell?
Yeah,
That's
because I took the photos
crazy,
at the
dude.
protest, and I was like, okay,
Fucking
cool,
well done.
photography's nice, but I'll rather just do it for myself. So I went out with friends, and like I'd shoot with them, but it was never like an active like I'm gonna grow myself as a photographer. It was just kind of like,
Yeah.
hey, I kind of enjoy taking photos.
Yeah.
But then like from shooting the first festival I did up till Ultra was like 2.5 months.
That's
Dude.
fucked.
That's
So, like-
crazy, bro.
That's wild. Hold on, I'm just
Yeah.
checking my camera.
That is fucked.
Oh yeah, I should actually. Yeah.
I want to ask though, Ollie,
I got so worried there. I thought I
about
wasn't
your
recording
music production now. When
Oh,
did you
yeah,
start
yeah.
your music production? Like going in for it?
anymore. Yeah.
Like so, and we at school we had a in music we had like obviously we broke music up into different classes. So there was theory, improv, history, composition.
Wait, you had improv.
Um,
That's dope. I
and-
never had improv.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like
Best
we do
music
like
department.
I never said that.
we do like 2 songs a term, and then just like practice going through different like modes that we could use in that, and just soloing through it.
That's so sick.
So it was like it was cool, but every week I'd get demolished by our teacher because I just never tried. So like and then in composition we got given literally no information on how to use Logic. So we use Logic at school, and I still do now. So we got given little to no information. We had our first lesson. We got taught what a saw wave is, and they were like, right, now that you know what that is, make a new song.
Why is that the first
Logic.
lesson? Because I barely even know
The
what
first
saw
lesson
is.
is
Yeah.
saw wave.
Saw waves
Who
are
gives a
hardly
shit?
like fundamental
What?
information.
Yeah.
What must I do with this information, sir? Please. So then we told to make some songs, and like I would sort of fool around in break sometimes because we had like a Mac lab with all the Macs were, and it was open during break. So I'd go there and fool around sometimes, but it was all awful until about a month and a half ago. Like I produced like the worst hip hop beats you'll ever hear in your entire life for about 4.5 years. Just
Nice.
serious, just like actual trash, like stuff that I will never want the public to hear ever. And then Simon Lukov, obviously
No, I don't
so
know
he sent
Simon.
me yeah. He sent me a song. He was like, oh, I want to kind of find a song with a similar vibe to put in a video that I'm busy doing. I was like, dude,
Copyright.
I will make a song for you. I was way overconfident in my abilities at the time. I was like, dude, I will make this song for you. Like, this is quick, easy, watch me. So I sit down and I was possessed by some musical spirit that allowed me to make semi-decent music. So I made it for him in like a day and a bit, and then he put it on his video, and it was actually quite cool. So I was like, okay, let me not waste this song on just not that it's a waste that he's posted with a video.
Wasted on. No, Simon, just so you know, the use was a waste.
No, man.
Guess
So-
who's getting cut out of the edit now, boy?
So I was like, let me actually try use this and put a song out, because like when you've been making music for about 6-7 years and not putting anything out, you eventually just like, whatever, let me just actually put something out.
Yeah.
So then I was gonna try record vocals by myself on that one. And I thought, actually, you know what, my voice is garbage. Let me
Baby
not do this
steps,
to the
baby
public.
steps, baby
Yeah.
steps.
So then I sent that song to Jazz, and she's recorded some vocals on it, and that song's coming out in about a week's time.
Shout out Lemon Zest.
Lemon Zest.
Yes, shout out Lemon
And
Zest.
by the time this
incredible.
comes out, it will have been
It
out
will-
for like
yes,
a month.
it will be out,
because
yeah.
our posting
Yes.
schedule's decked. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So
we're
like,
not gonna help your initial streamers, but go stream it.
I mean, to be honest, I'm not too phased about like numbers when it comes to streams. Like unless you can make a living off of it, I don't think there's really a point in getting overly concerned about the numbers you're getting.
Yeah.
So, and then so I produced that, and I was like, you know what, I can actually do something. I'm not the worst producer the planet has ever seen. So then I started like actually trying to work on the genre that I'm releasing now, because previously, like the song that I first released, that was only the second song in that genre that I've ever produced.
Hectic.
So I was like, actually, let me try work on this and get better at it. So then I worked on that for about a week, put it out. The response to it was actually way better than I was expecting. Because even when I was listening to it, like a week before it got released, I was like, do you really want to release this?
It gets bad.
But it's already on DistroKid. It's locked in. There's nothing to be done.
You don't understand how bad
too
that
late.
feeling gets. It actually is
It's so
fucking
bad.
horrendous. I remember when we wanted to release
It's so bad.
27, it was like a few days
Yeah.
before, and I sent a message to Brad. I was like, Brad, I think we should pull it from the stores. I can't do this anymore. I don't think it's
I've already done that for one of my
I think
songs.
that's on a serious note, like, I think that's been a good thing about for us having a song posting schedule. Because we've committed ourselves to releasing a song every month.
Yeah.
Obviously we didn't
That's
the last
true.
month. Like, there's a point at which Jono just has to put the song up and leave it.
Yeah.
And it just has, and that's it. And if it's not
Yeah.
perfect by then it has to go out. But I think that's helped us to make sure we're putting out music consistently.
And you know my new
which I
problem
think
now.
has been a big help.
My new problem now is because we have this monthly schedule. I work about 3-4 songs in advance. So by the like I'm always on the wave of the last song. I'm like, this song is sick. But then I still have to release like the other 3, and I'm so over them by now. When it comes out, I'm like, okay, just wait for the next
Because you
one.
just listen to it over and over and over and over again.
Yeah. That is the downside of self-recording and self-releasing, is by the time you put the song out, you fucking hate it. You hate it fundamentally
stand
to
my
your
own-
core.
Like this last song that I just released now, I worked on that for a while. Like the initial production process took me like a week or so. And then I was like, okay, I need a vocalist for this, but like I can't, like, who am I going to message? I don't really know that many people. And then I was like, okay, I'll just put my own vocals on it. It can't be that bad. So then it took me like another week or so to record vocals, which even now, like, I don't know if you've heard it, but there's a point in the song where there's distortion on my vocals. Like,
I
the
thought
mic
that was just your
peaks
voice.
way.
See, that's the thing. You people, you hear that because you're producing it and you've heard it 4 million times.
No, but it's like
nobody
such an
else
obvious thing.
gives
Like, you
a
could
shit.
hear it. But you can like actually hear it, and it sounds so bad.
Nah,
so like, and it's
I
like
don't think it sounds
halfway
bad.
through the song.
Nah, dude.
It's like I hear, and I'm listening to this, and I just hear this, and it's a line that doesn't fit in with the rest of the song. It's just like a random line that I put into full space. It's like, okay, well, this I can't just
See, that's
repeat
the
the
thing,
verse
though.
again.
That's the
You
thing. When you
overanalyze it as-
self-produce
yeah.
and when you like, you are your biggest critic, and then you've heard the
Yeah, fair
song
enough.
400 times, and so you pick up, and like I used to record and mix people as well, and like
Yeah.
even just for me, like sitting there and then you hear just like a little system click, and you know it's there. Then you know that's there, and there's nothing you can do to get rid of it.
Kills me.
At all,
Kills me.
and it's in your head. Then the song is awful. But nobody else cares. Nobody else is gonna listen to that and go, oh my god, I can't. I hate the song. I cannot deal. I hate. They're not gonna hear it, dude. They're not gonna. People who record your own music, they don't hear it. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
I wanted
Yeah.
to ask, how do you
I think.
do you master your own stuff? Do you send it away? How do you like?
See, now the whole thing of mastering to me is
So is that no to both questions then? Is that no to both options?
like I honestly have no idea what mastering is.
Yeah.
I know that it's like getting the levels right and making sure that it's loud enough for radio play and other. But
Can I
process of
contribute?
mastering, I'm
Can I contribute
clueless.
to an understanding of mastering?
Please
Um,
do.
The master of masters.
It's not going to make it better, but in 2017, you know, when everyone does their little work experience, whatever, I was in
Yes,
England
yes.
visiting my dad, and I got to shadow in a studio called Metropolis Studios. Go look it up because
Okay.
it's sick and it makes me feel good. But anyway, they record Stormzy, they recorded Adele's 21 and 25.
mad.
They were recorded, mixed and mastered at Metropolis.
That's so
That's
cool.
kind of what we're talking about.
Okay.
Led Zeppelin, George Michael, Michael Jackson.
Shit,
got
I
the
thought the
first
list was
flex.
going
I
to
got
end
the
after
first
like the
flex.
first two. It just kept going.
Yeah, go look it up.
Stormzy and
Go look
Adele.
it up.
Cool, we get it.
Anyways, yeah,
That
I
was a
think
bit of a
yeah,
flex.
yeah, I know it is. And I did my little interview with a mastering engineer called Tony Cousins, who'd been around since Virgin Records was bought by EMI. He used to work in the original Virgin Records house. Like he
You're
knew
saying this
Richard
as if I know
Branson.
anything about music.
Virgin Records. You do know everything. You do know things about music. Bloody hell, Oli. Jeez Louise. Anyways, and he's a mastering engineer that's been around since mastering was a thing, because mastering only became a
Okay.
thing when CDs were the output
Yeah,
method.
yeah.
And I asked him what it was, and he was like, frankly, like, I don't know what to tell you. And
That's
I'm
so
one of the former. I don't like, I know I have EQ and I have compressors and I make the
Yes.
song better. But he was
that's
like,
what it
I'll
is to
tell
me.
you, it's a
Everywhere.
dark art. It's the dark art of audio engineering.
Yeah.
Because
Literally.
even those of us who do it don't really know what it is. It's just
fine-tuning
compression and
everything.
EQ, and it makes it better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes it better. We don't know how, but it does.
It's one of those weird things. Like
So,
you can tell,
you-
you can tell it's a
Oli-
fucking dark ass magic thing, because like producers are usually like young guys, like 20 somethings, and the people you send to mixing are like older,
Yeah,
30
yeah.
something. Then the mastering engineers like
Yes.
8-year-old guys in these fucking
Like,
spaceships, like turning knobs and shit.
Everything's analog. They have these perfectly tuned rooms. Everything is like perfect, and it just goes in there. You don't know what happens. It comes out and it's better.
Yeah.
You
it's
can't
insane.
quantify why. You
got
can't
no idea.
like put your finger on why. It just is.
One thing we
That'll
know
not
is
get
it is
taken over by AI.
it has.
Well, I mean,
That's
it is
what we
already
use.
getting
We use
taken
AI.
over.
Yeah,
What
Lander,
shit?
yeah.
And is that
We
it?
don't have the
Like,
money.
Not gonna be,
Yeah.
just
No, dude.
turns the knobs for you.
They like so Lander, the algorithmic one, like is good, but I think like there is a level of where these guys have just heard so many songs that their ear is just so fun. So like I think once you're putting out records that are worth millions of dollars and going to get billions of streams and listens, then you go to a mastering engineer who's going to add that little the spice.
Yeah, a little sauce.
But up until then, like just Lander, dude. Who cares?
Yeah,
Still.
yeah. Like
Did you use Lander? Oli?
I had a song that I put through Lander that I was going to release. But then I was listening to it like a few days before. I was like, look here. Because it's my vocals again. I was like, look here. This one is too bad to actually put out. Like this one, the public will not have to deal with. I cannot
I
put them
can't
through
put
this.
people through this.
Because like I put it on my story. It was that one. I can't even remember when I put it on.
Piano.
But I put it on a while ago. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
I put it on my story a while. No, it was even before that.
Oh,
A while. So, and the verses are so awful. Like I first recorded a verse. I was like, okay, no, this is trash. Let me redo this. Then I redid it, bounced it out. I was like, okay, this is all right. This is doable. I can
Possible.
post this. It's possible. Then I put it through Lander, and I'd saved it on my hard drive, the project file, on my hard drive. 2 days after I've bounced it through Lander and I've put it on DistroKid to be released, I'm like, I really, really don't like this verse. This needs to change. Then my hard drive dies, so I can't change the vocals at all. So now I've got this like really sick song that's got like a cool chorus, it's got a nice drop and everything, but the verses are just so awful that I can't subject anyone to it.
And now you either have to re-record the whole thing or put out a song with shit.
Yeah.
Re-recording is just
Storage,
not an
hey?
option. It's just too much work to
Yeah.
ever re-record. You
You
finish,
lose
you
it.
get to that point, you just go,
I can't.
"Fuck
And
this."
you lose things. You just lose things.
Yeah,
dude.
it's done.
You
It's
can't
done.
do
You
that.
just lose
So it just
stuff.
became story content in the end.
Oli, how do you think like
Segue.
how do you think the music industry is going to change? Like with all of this, what do you see happening? bearing in mind to the viewers that none of us have any idea what we're talking about. But
Yeah, so I mean, I am.
what's your opinion?
I know far less about the South African music industry than you do, or just globally anyway.
Thank you.
So, like, I was speaking to, you know, Jason Windy?
Yeah.
I do know Jason
Yeah.
Wendy.
Yeah.
Not
So I was-
personally properly yet.
Personally,
But,
bro.
Okay, yeah. So I was speaking to him, and he does work for Dan Mace. You know Dan Mace?
yeah.
Yes.
And you know he's
Yeah.
Sing Sounds. So Jason does all of
Yeah.
that for him, right? And so I was sitting in with Windy, and he was busy editing the sounds and everything, and he was just saying about how like studios, like actual physical studios, are dying, like they're being shut down left, right, and center because at-home studios are just becoming so
Better and
incredibly
better and better.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like Jason
that's
at
true.
just in his room has probably I mean he's got a console worth like 40 grand.
Okay, his home studio is ridiculous though.
It's insane.
Like,
It's insane.
Serious studio envy.
Yeah.
That QU24.
Dude, it's ridiculous. Whenever I'm there I'm just like, can I just pick it up and
Stay.
just leave? Can I just But like even at home, like I've got such an ass interface and a really basic MIDI keyboard. And I'm putting out music on Spotify. So I mean,
Yeah, no.
anyone can do it anyway at this point.
It's totally
True.
it's
Steve-
totally democratized the game. Okay.
Steve Lacey did
Yeah.
it on
Zoom
his
call's about to
phone.
end. I'm gonna reopen. Okay, we're all populating slowly. We're just
I'm not
waiting
gonna
on
lie, I think
Hugo.
my-
Surprise of the
I think my
century.
camera might have fucked it.
I want to ask a question. Do we all
Yeah.
have Skype? Do we all have Skype?
Yeah.
Why
I
do-
don't have it downloaded.
Why don't we just do you not have Skype? But like, why don't we
I
just
don't
use Skype?
think I have it downloaded.
It makes so much more sense
Why does it make more sense?
because it doesn't cut out after 40 minutes.
This is true.
Are you
Big
sure?
facts.
But Skype is just an old and
It does
like,
exactly the same thing.
It's it's
I'm sure it's pretty. Yeah, it's exactly.
Yeah.
My Skype camera doesn't work.
Zoom has a lot more functionality in terms of like your actual
I mean,
abilities and
even
stuff.
Discord as well could work.
Discord,
Yeah.
Discord.
that's true. Okay.
Okay, we back. We back. We
I think
repopulated.
my camera might have fucked it. I don't know. I've just gone
Just
through all
restart
the
it.
clips.
Just quickly.
It's got like
Yeah.
9 billion 9-minute clips for some reason.
Okay, well, as long as it kept recording them, then chill.
Yeah. We'll see how it
I
goes.
just snorted arbitrarily. What were we talking about?
We were chatting about how easy it is to make
at home
music. And
democratizing.
I was going to say,
Yeah.
Steve Lacey from a band called The Internet recorded his whole album on, or was it an EP? I don't know, on his phone. And it slaps.
Yeah.
But like,
That was
you
crazy.
see him
He
doing
did it all
it,
on his
and
phone.
it's just like, what the fuck? Why don't you just use your laptop? And
Yeah.
I feel like he was just
Gear
making a
matters
point.
less and less and less.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Matters literally so much less.
We like the Southeasters use. I mean, have you seen those covers that we put out?
Yeah, they're cool as fuck.
Yes,
we
the
Waiting on the World to
The-
Change cover.
yeah.
Yeah. So like those vocals are recorded entirely on David's phone.
David's iPhone.
So like, and the vocals sound passably good. I mean, they're mixed so well. Like Jason again, like just shows the power
Wizard.
of like at home studios, and it's ridiculous.
It is amazing.
Those
Yeah.
vocals sound at least infinitely times better than my vocals, even when I'm recording like on this mic. I mean, that could be down to that just David's infinitely better than me at singing, but it's also like, the amount that you
Jason's
can
also a
do-
bit of a wizard. Yeah. No,
it's crazy.
I think that's true. I think live is gonna, like, it's still the thing that I'm struggling to figure out. I don't know how live is going to, and it's something we're busy kind of debating and working on and trying to figure out. But I think there's going to be like a few years of just everyone not really knowing what's going on and everyone trying slightly different things and trying to whatever. But as a last kind of talking point that I want to get your opinion on, because I think what you're doing at the moment is quite cool. Obviously, okay, this is going to come out in a month, so it might be less timely, but I think that's almost better because it might reignite a conversation.
again.
Yeah.
as of today, being the 21st of June, we've kind of just had just over a month of protests, which started out kind of with the murder of George Floyd, and that have then evolved into a much deeper societal kind of
Civil
recognition
rights
of civil rights and whatever. And what do you think is the role of creatives and musicians and influencers in this kind of social discourse? And you can answer with reference to what you're working on at the moment, if you want.
Yeah, so I mean, creators in general, I feel, have, and that's why I started getting into photography, was the anti-gender-based violence protests. I feel like if you have a platform, you need to use it to either ignite a conversation or be at least create awareness for something. So like, but it's also at the same time, it's not enough to just post something. You can't just post something, take a photo, post it, and be like, hey, hashtag Black Lives Matter. That's not what activism is. That's not what joining a civil rights movement is about. So that's where like the idea for creating that group. I mean, okay, for the people who don't know, I put on my story like a while back, asking for like any creators that follow me to DM me if they'd be keen on helping out Black-owned businesses with like their sort of marketing and branding stuff. And it got a really, really good response. Like there's a team of 20 or so of us who like photographers, videographers, illustrators, musicians who are going to be helping like sort of branding and content creation for different Black-owned businesses. And like my sort of idea behind it, like I got asked, I've been approaching Black-owned businesses already now, asking if they'd be keen on having a team to sort of help them out with content. And I got asked like, why do I want to do this? Like, what is the end goal for me, and for the team? And I just said, it was a tough question, because like it's something that like I approached as like, okay, I have to do this. Like this is something that I should do, without ever really thinking like why. So then I got to thinking. I was like, well, okay, well, I'm not in the best position to speak on this, but it's sort of the legacy of a colonization leading in towards the apartheid era. The amount of like that, you can't just get over that in 20 odd years that we've had outside of that system. Like it was decades of the harshest oppression that we'll ever see, you know, like it's completely insane. So then like Black-owned businesses are starting on such a enormous disadvantage as opposed to like white-owned business or anything like that. And when you have like the skills and the platform to help someone out, like regardless of what your skill is, like if you can bake pie or cook chicken really well, or like whatever it is, like you can use that to help out in any movement at all, really. So I just called on like creatives to use their skills and platform to try and help in like the most tangible way they can. So like I feel like if we do it right, it can do quite a lot of good.
Yeah, I really take that.
Insane, bro.
Yeah,
Well done.
I think it's just the reason I thought it was such a cool idea is just because it's the most kind of synergetic way for creatives to help a movement like that long term, past just covering the protests and posting a video of them. Like it's the means that they can help that has the most synergy with just who they are as a person. People like that need, and it's still client work. From an objective point of view, it can still help with your portfolio. It helps you.
100%. Yeah.
It's something that is genuinely something you are passionate about and enjoy. Yeah. And then if that coincides with equality as something that you're passionate about and enjoy, then that's just a really nice synergetic relationship, and you get to build, you get to expand your network of clients, you get to all of that. And so I think it's it's a sustainable way for people to engage with a movement past when it's trending.
Yeah.
Which I think is something that is so difficult to find and kind of make mainstream.
Yeah.
And I think it's, from my perspective, that's kind of the challenge that's facing our generation, is kind of stop thinking about like engaging with it now and then we move on to the next thing or whatever. It's about finding ways to make that kind of engagement a lot more sustainable and long term.
Yeah.
And I think an initiative like what you're talking about has the capacity to do that, for people to be able to engage past kind of their when it's trending, which is why I think.
But it's like I really want to do this thing, but at the same time, it feels like, have you seen the picture of like someone pointing a water pistol at the sun and trying to shoot the sun with a water pistol?
Yeah.
It's like it was a meme template like ages ago. It kind of feels like that because of the level of inequality that you see, like globally, not just South Africa, but especially in South Africa. It's an insane level of inequality. I mean, I took a gap year. And I took on Mondays, I would go to like a really poor school in town called, what's it called? I've forgotten the name now. But so I was involved in a feeding scheme and with a literacy program there. And you just you see the level of poverty that these people live in. And that's not even the poorest of the poor. And then you begin to think, okay, well, like, look how I'm living. How do they even survive like that? And then you have an issue like the complete level of inequality between like financially, socially, socioeconomic classes between white and black. But then there's also issues sort of like the gender-based violence issues we're seeing that are coming up again. Like I remember September last year, there's a whole bunch of attention around it. Then all of a sudden, no one's talking about it.
Yeah.
So it then becomes like, it's going to be a tough project to sort of keep going in terms of motivation and energy, because that's what it is. Like the gender-based violence thing protest last year in September. At first, there's protests, there's a whole bunch of energy. Everyone was keen. They were like, let's tackle this. Then the government came out and gave a complete non-policy about, we'll change this, we'll fix these issues. Nothing has changed.
Yeah.
But the energy completely died down because people were like, oh, we've done the protest now things are going to change. But so few people were actually willing to like sacrifice anything. And like I had conversations with some of my guy friends in Stellenbosch last year during the protest, because there were a bunch of protests just in Stellenbosch. And I was like, cool, are you coming to this protest? There's a protest happening now in the Roy Plain. The directors of the university are going to be there addressing the whole thing of rape culture and all of that. They're like, no, I've got better things to do. I'm going to go watch football or something. And you just look at like that kind of attitude from like, and it's a majority of people. It's not that it's just like one or two individuals. It's like the majority of people will think like that, where it's like they went to one protest like, I've done my part, it's fine now, I've got better things to do. So like I feel like starting this project is a good way to sort of not even just hold myself accountable, but hold a larger group accountable, sort of like keep your energy, keep this momentum going. Let's try actually make a tangible difference.
I think I think it goes back to like making, kind of in inverted commas, it's not the right way of phrasing it, but like making activism sustainable and continuous, and just finding ways in everyone's, like in your own life as a person, to continue, just make it like almost a part of routine. That it's just something that you do as a part of who you are, and it's not a defining thing, because if it's a defining thing then there's whatever, but it's just a fundamental part of who you are, is just that on an ongoing basis you are trying in a way that is the most efficient and whatever for you, because energy I think is a super important part of it. Like
yes,
people get exhausted when it's this like a protest level of intensity, and that kind of intensity is difficult to keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you have the problem of issues coming up and then falling into
Yes, yeah.
whatever again, into obscurity, and then they come up and then it's the next thing, and then this thing, and then. But we need to like find a way, and I don't know how, but
Yeah.
I think that's the thing that's facing us as a generation who have more access to information than anyone before us, and more awareness of the world than any generation before us. And so we're burdened with the consequences of the actions of generations before us.
And I think it comes down like, because currently there's so much content that people can consume, right? There's like, if you look at an app like TikTok, it's insane. Like, if you look at your screen, there's just a video. You swipe up, there's another video, and you just keep going. There's
So
no end to it.
overwhelming.
Like, you can literally just swipe forever, and you will never find an end to it. And I found there's so many videos of like people bashing feminism or bashing the Black Lives Matter movement, and you just look at like, okay, you're bashing feminism. Feminism is a movement for the equality of women and men. What is your argument? Like, are you disagreeing with that? What is so? And there's a whole and a video like that bashing feminism will get like millions of views, 100,000s of likes, and you just look like, who is liking this? Like,
Bro,
what is your
there's so
mentality
much-
that you are agreeing with this?
Cool. Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
it's like,
that stuff,
yeah,
racism,
and it's like, yeah, it's insane.
everything.
And
Yeah.
people get away with it so often, so it just becomes a perpetual thing. So like, people are consuming racist content, they're consuming content that perpetuates a rape culture, and then they don't ever think that it's an actual issue. You know,
Yeah, I think it's like the flip side of the coin of having more access to information than any generation before us is we also have more access to confirmatory information than any generation before us. And whilst other generations might have just been exposed to the books and things that they were seeing,
yes,
like now if we choose to, whether consciously or subconsciously, everything we see by curating our feeds and curating our whatever can enforce our own biases
100%.
and our own, which is like, so it's like we have this responsibility to go almost against what one's
counter
default
to what you
response
think it is,
would be. Which I think
I mean, I'm
is
quite
hectic.
lucky. My dad told me from quite a young age that like, if you agree with something, you have to find out why you agree with it, like find out facts about why you agree with something, but then also find out why people disagree with it, and find out why your belief system is better than not believing in why you know. And then and my dad also told me, like, recently we were talking about like using your white privilege to stand up against racism, and he said, like, it's like I said earlier, it's not enough to just post something and then move on. That's not activism. Like, you have to be willing to sacrifice a whole business, a house, because like the issue of around Black Lives Matter is that people are being killed because they are black, like for no other reason other than the color of their skin, for the melanin count they have, they're being killed. You know, and so like, you have to be willing, you have to take into account that people are dying for this, and you have to then take that into account when you think, but this guy's my boss, I can't stand up to him because he's being racist, I'm going to lose my job. And you have to think, okay, but actually people are dying.
Yeah,
you know?
what's the priority?
Yeah, you have to think like,
Which is difficult.
And so many people are like, I can't donate to this cause. I've got so many bills and other things to pay, and I'd love to go out for drinks with my friends. I'd prefer to go out for drinks. So I can't donate this 200 rand. This, you know, like whatever your donation is, like I can't. Donation shaming is a real thing, but like you can't just like say, oh no, I'd rather like go out for drinks with friends. Otherwise, you are prioritizing drinks over the lives of other human beings. You know. So
It's hectic, dude. That kind of like self-interrogation that like I think for all of us as cishet white men from like an environment where most of us, whether our families or whatever are Christian or not, but like a Christocentric environment for all of us.
Yeah.
Like, it's something that we need to be doing, and it is really, but that's good. It's good that it's challenging. And like the thing that I think ultimately is the truest thing is like, it's such a privilege to have to investigate your own privilege, like that in itself. Like the fact that the hardest thing we have to do in this whole thing
is educate ourselves.
Is
think about it. Yeah.
Is in itself is in itself such a huge thing.
Yeah.
And I think it's something that, but it's something that we need to be having conversations about and talking about, which is why I think it's important.
Yeah.
And like you said, for people who have a platform to use that platform and whatnot. Shit, it's been an hour.
It's been a while.
Remember when we started this thing, we were like, no, we'll have 20-minute episodes. 20 minutes, maybe half an hour if we're like pushing it. You know what I mean?
Not about that,
No, first one was half an hour. Second was 45 minutes. Now we're on an hour.
It's 3 episodes of me.
Yeah, but you see, I was thinking about like, do we cut it up into 2 episodes? It's like, but then the flow like isn't. Nah, fuck it, we'll put it up.
They must watch.
Oli, what is, just to kind of finish things off, like what are your music related plans? Actually, I have a better question. I have a better question.
Okay.
As someone who kind of, by your own whatever, you've just dived into stuff and then gotten good at it over time.
Gotten lucky.
Don't.
No.
Yeah, luck plays a part. 100%. Luck does play a part.
Luck follows those.
Don't undersell yourself.
Okay.
Don't undersell yourself. You have gotten good. Obviously, you can get better. So I'm going to be rude to you, so you can't be rude to yourself.
Okay.
Obviously, like we can all get better. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The fact that you shot Ultra 2 months after, like you've gotten good.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough.
Just take it.
And met the president. I don't
And
know.
and shot the president. Shot photos of the president. For clarity, love the president.
Love him. My best mate.
To have done that, what would be your advice to someone? I think you're quite uniquely placed in some ways too. What would be your advice to someone who wants to start doing photography, doing music, producing for themselves, learning an instrument, because you've done all of those things kind of by yourself?
Yeah.
What would be your advice? Like first 3 major steps.
Okay. YouTube is your best friend. Like always. I mean, so many people will say this, but it because it is. Like it is so true that
YouTube University.
There is absolutely nothing within the creative sphere that you cannot learn off YouTube. Like you do if you okay, I don't want to bash anyone going to like photography school or anything, but like there's so much that you can learn off YouTube or the internet, literally anything. You can learn it. Like photography, all of my photography stuff I learned off YouTube. That's like videography stuff too. Like it's just all learned straight off YouTube. Music production, I mean, the full extent of my education at school was learning what a saw wave is. That's it.
Yeah.
So like the rest has all been off YouTube. In terms of photography, like to start, festival photography especially. In terms of like getting into that and starting to get like approached or just shooting more festivals in general, literally you just reach out to festivals. You message festivals and be like, look, I will shoot for you for free. Just get me a pass. I will create content. I will do a video for you. I'll take 500 plus photos for you and I'll get them to you within the next day. Like within like what I would do, I would get photos to the people within 4 hours of the festival ending.
What?
So I'd go home and immediately put the photos onto my laptop while I'm showering, come back, edit everything, upload them to a Google Drive. While I'm waiting, I have like a 2-3 hour nap. Then I wake up, send it to them, then sleep. Done. So like, and then you begin to get a reputation because within the festival organization industry.
Yeah.
There's so many people who know each other, and then you begin to build a reputation within that to be like, oh yeah, he gave me photos like 4 hours after the event.
Yeah, I
finished
woke
that
up
could
and
start
my
posting.
photos were there.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So like, it's just having that desire to get your stuff done quickly and send it out to them. But you can't just sort of rush the whole editing process. Otherwise, your photos are going to be garbage and they're not going to post them anyway. So it's like just reaching out to festivals and doing the work for them quickly. That was like for me the biggest thing about it. Because especially like shooting that ultra, the pre-party, the ultra pre-party thing. I got those photos to the guy 2 hours after the event finished. Because there weren't that many photos. There were about like 300, 400 photos. Quickly edited them, sent them to him. Done. So then like immediately he was like, okay, this guy can get his stuff done quickly. So like that to me was the biggest win. Like sort of just like when I just started emailing and DMing first, it was like, I'll shoot for you, please let me shoot for you, and all of that type of stuff. Like I've begged so many times just to shoot at a festival. And then just like from that, like when I started doing the videography, when the first festival I shot, I had these stupidly high standards that I set for myself on the videography side without ever realizing exactly how hard it is. Like that would be the third thing, like not setting unrealistic standards for yourself. Because like I think it's like, I told people, I was like, oh yeah, I'm shooting an after movie for this festival. It's going to be sick. And then when I was there, I was like, A, I can't get on stage, and B, I can't get in the pit. How am I going to shoot an after movie from the crowd? I was like, so I got there and I was like, shit, I've told all these people that I'm shooting an after movie. Now I'm going to post like really awful clips. And then like, and if I look back, because sometimes I go back and I look at that first video that I made, I look back and I'm like, what the fuck were you thinking? This is garbage. Like just I've got maybe a 15-second clip of just someone's back for some reason. And I thought like, yeah, this is good, I'll post it.
Film. This is film.
Film school for who? Yeah. Right.
Yeah, exactly.
So
I think too many people are obsessed with getting things right, and then they don't end up doing anything. And then you didn't get anything wrong because you didn't do anything at all.
Yes. Yeah.
Like,
Exactly.
In the beginning of anything, you're gonna do shit wrong. Just accept it.
Yeah. That for me, it was like, it's the same thing of DMing festivals. Like you will get rejected. Like people will tell you to fuck off. And within that, it translates to music. Like you will put music out there that people don't like. And you will get people telling you that your music is shit. But at the end of the day, if you're not putting music out there, you're not getting that feedback. No one's gonna let you know that you're shit.
You can't learn from it.
Yeah. So like putting stuff out on my Instagram, like my photography stuff. At first, I was like, please, people like this, please. And then you get to a point where like you've improved. So you're like, oh, this is cool, and I know it's cool.
And so if you don't think so,
yeah.
Like that photo shoot that you did for your parents, that was cool.
Dude,
that was sick.
I'm not gonna lie.
Your dad was dripping.
Those pants.
Your dad was dripping. Those pants were incredible.
My mom made those for him.
What?
That's so cool.
That's sick.
So that video on TikTok has 30,000 views.
What?
Holy shit.
Yeah.
TikTok blows up there. I'm not gonna
It's
lie.
insane.
Crazy.
But the thing is, my second most viewed video on TikTok has 1,400 views. So I went from 1,400 to 30,000 with one video.
There's no like correlate. You don't even have to.
Doesn't
you can
make
have
any
like
sense to
a
me.
video of your cat that gets 3 views, and then another one that gets like 2 milli.
And it didn't make sense to me because like I posted one
No, it is.
like 2 or 3 days before that, which was like super high effort. It's that video that I posted on Instagram of my brother J-boarding.
Oh yeah.
And it was like I put a lot of effort into like color grading, speed ramping, stabilization, like all of that. Put a lot of effort into it. Put it up, it got like 140 views on TikTok. I was like, this is confusing. So then I filmed. There was
weird.
another video. My second highest viewed video was the one of me. I'm just riding on a J-board in the middle of the road, telling people that there is empirical evidence of God existing because the palm of my hand fits around the throat of a goose. And that got like 1,500 views.
I don't even need to know. I don't even
I was like, so I'm riding on a J-board and I say, okay, well, if God's not real, then why does the palm of my hand fit so perfectly around the throat of a goose? That was the entire video. And it got 1,500 views, which is like 10 times more than a high effort video got.
Yeah.
I got so annoyed when we were
Dude,
shitting
TikTok-
out content back
TikTok's weird.
back when we had holiday.
TikTok's weird.
And we were like shitting out
weird.
content properly. I'd put so much
Yeah.
work into like one video. I can't even remember which was it. I put so much fucking effort in. Like I made the song, I made the music video,
Yeah.
and like no one
Yeah.
would give a shit.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
Hugo would scare his brother with a TV, and everyone would be like, "Oh wait,
Yeah, you just put
fuck
out
this, bro."
That was effort though.
You could put out
Yeah,
the
in all
worst
fairness-
content. Yeah.
In all fairness, Hugo did put effort into his pranks.
Yeah,
in
no,
all
oh my
fairness.
God,
I
that's-
did actually. Don't
Yeah,
even lie.
that second one was
um,
mad.
that was crazy. Yeah.
Yeah,
All right, guys. Should we?
Oh
we call
god.
it there?
Anyways,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think it is
Let's
probably
wrap it up. Just
it's a
for
good idea to end it before the viewers die of old age. So thank you very much, Ali, for coming. That was very interesting.
I won't lie.
Absolute pleasure. I enjoyed it.
That was fun.
That was
Yeah.
really fun.
That was good.
Wait,
That was good.
Jono, I want to do something. I want to experiment with something. If you got this far into the video, we'll give you 2 free tickets to our secret live stream show that's going to happen at the end of the year. There's such a good chance no one's going to hear this, so I don't care. But like,
Well, they'll have to contact
If
you.
we-
How? What do
like-
you do?
But
What do you
like,
do?
will everyone
if
get?
you get this far?
You
Is it
DM
just
the
like put
boys.
into a raffle or something?
Yeah.
Okay, then you'll have to DM.
But
If
you
you
gotta
got
end the
this
video
far,
like right now. Man.
DM the band account or whatever.
Yeah.
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 I will
No. Give
marry
it.
anyone who's got this
no.
far.
We can give it a little. If we'll just give it a little extra minute because people might skip to the last minute and try and catch it. But so they have to have actually listened this far. But anyways, Oliver,
Too bad.
thank you for
Yes.
coming on and chatting shit with us
Absolute
for
pleasure.
however long.
It's
Always
been
have
great.
fun, bro.
Thank you very much. Hope you have a
It's
great
been-
day.
it's
All
been
the
a lot
viewers
of
at
fun.
home, thank you for watching with us, and we'll see you in the future.